All right. Feel free to.
But then you
Play.
hear the paid programming.
I know. Play that
Yeah, I don't.
before the commercials. I don't pay for my programming.
I could play it first,
How about you
and
just
then
say this is not a paid program, but the views.
ooh, maybe we can make like a separate one for you.
Yeah, no, I'll make it. I'll be like, this is no, it's all right.
We
The
can make
views
a
and
like a.
express do not call and complain about things I say. It is opinions only.
If your name is Tim,
Shh, quiet.
we love you. No, we love you.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. We have compassion for that sort of call.
And here we go.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM, which we are so happy to have you with today on today's show. It's a bit of a different show for today. We've got a very interesting discussion coming up around the corner. It's a documentary. You can go check it out right now. Suffer for Good. Got a lot of awards, got a lot of accolades. Very interesting story. We're going to have both the director of this story and the very own Seb Zewdie, who's going to be here with us. And it's an interesting documentary. It's about the Ethiopian federal troops and how they claimed victory in Tigray's capital of Mekelle, many miles away in Hollywood. Danny Simmons brought attention to the war-ravaged country with this documentary, Suffer for Good. It has already premiered and is available on a variety of video-on-demand platforms distributed by Gravitas Ventures and Red Arrow Studios. It's a story about an Ethiopian boxer, Seb Zewdie, who we're going to have here with us, where his Olympic dreams were shattered by Russia's boycott of the 1984 Olympics and a near-death stabbing. So we're going to talk a lot about this story. It's coming up around the corner, and Seb's a very nice guy that when you meet him, you wouldn't think anything about him, except that if you wanted to throw a punch to him, he would probably put you down pretty quick. We got Mr. Jesse Sanchez there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's well, with all the little like violent moments like in LA where you've got somebody taking out somebody else, and they're doing so from behind. You don't do that with this guy. He's a respected boxing and MMA coach. He's a refugee from Ethiopia, and he immigrated to the US in 1987 to receive a life-saving heart operation. He's the father of 3 young sons. And his story, very interesting, is put into this documentary all together. And I can't wait for people to see it. And, sometimes we learn a lot from other people's stories of coming from another country. But more importantly, sometimes, as a refugee, we think how easy we have it. And we do, compared to having to, live in another country where some situations can be pretty bad. But to hear his story go from beginning to end is going to be something we're going to be excited to do in a little bit. So I'm excited about that. Get your questions ready for that. Also, a little bit around the corner, or we're also going to be joined. It's all about finance, and in a pandemic, we're going to learn some ways you can teach your kids on how to be good with their money, especially during this time. Why high yield savings accounts are a must, and how to take back the family finance. We're going to be joined by the recovering spender, best-selling author Lauren Grootman, who is a mother of 6 and has been a go-to resource for busy families who are sick of keeping up with the Joneses and ready to learn a better way to spend with their heart, stay true to their values, and live the lifestyle they want. She's going to be joining us a little bit later, and we'll be talking about that, as well as Affirm and Swag Bucks. What is that? And do you want some Swag Bucks as well? I think you do. And I think you're going to want to learn about that in a bit. Jesse, what's going on in the world?
A lot of stuff actually happened. I don't know if you recently found out they landed a rover on Mars yesterday. That's big news.
That's well, and you're kind of like, how did it get there, right? Or like, when did it take off? When did because it just kind of like popped up everywhere, huh?
Right? I have like tons of questions. Like, when was it launched, and how long was it just flying around over there? So there's still a lot to they're gonna let us know, but it's exciting.
Yeah, and a lot of excitement there. Again, satellites have since been flying over the vehicle to pull off data to relay back to Earth. It touched down in Mars to Zero crater yesterday. Among all the information, should be further views from the rover of the surroundings. Some pictures it took during the descent to the surface. Perseverance, that I believe that's the name, is sitting almost bang in the middle of its targeted landing zone, which is pretty cool, right? Did you ever
Right?
see what was it with Matt? No, what's his name? I can't remember. I want to see. No, that's the wrong name. Martian. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Of Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon. Thank you. I was going to say somebody else's name. I'd mess it up. 2 kilometers to the southeast of what remains of an ancient river delta that formed at the edge of a lake. Engineers were delighted to see that hazard avoidance systems had steered the rover away from tricky terrain in the last moments before wheels down. The coming days will be consumed by getting Perseverance properly commissioned. NASA will want to check over the hardware to be sure nothing was damaged during what would have been a rough ride to the ground. Perseverance mast with its main camera system must be raised. The software that got the vehicle to Mars surface must now be exchanged for a software system that enables the robot to drive across that surface. It's going to be the pictures that will really tell the public what is going on. Deputy Project Manager Matt Wallace said, for the first time, we're going to see ourselves in high-definition video landing on another planet. We think we've captured, hopefully, some pretty spectacular video, and they come with a microphone as well. Wow. Perseverance team was still reveling in the excitement of the landing hours after it had happened. Swati Mohan is the guidance, navigation, and controls operations lead on the project. She was given the honor of calling the rover down as the telemetry came back to Earth. She told BBC in a quote, she said, I was so focused on what I needed to hear in order to know what I needed to say that it wasn't until after I called, touchdown confirmed, and people started cheering that I realized, oh my gosh, we actually did this. We're actually on Mars, not a practice run. This is the real thing. Again, much excitement on this. Strict coronavirus protocols mean NASA is currently having to limit how many people are at the mission control at Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena. But that means much of the management of the rover and their activities will spread across other centers and even in people's homes on their laptops. How crazy is that, huh, Jesse?
That is amazing. I just can't wait for them to start doing their little experiments, and who knows what they'll find over there.
Yeah, well, and the way they did it as well, it's very interesting. Some of the graphics that we're getting in here, touchdown. And I remember interviewing, I want to say about 12 years ago, some of the engineers that did one of the first rovers that are currently still on Mars. But the landing there and how they got it to do so, pretty cool. I love that it has like the little drone situation where it kind of sets it down appropriately. As you can see there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And so that, and of course, just the amount of genius that goes on in putting this type of thing together. But I think it's also interesting where they set it down, because at the end of the day, they're really trying to find out. I mean, the real question is where they set it down, Jesse. The fact that it had water, Mars had water, you kind of wonder, why did it like disappear? Or at least I do. Am I the only one?
No. There's a ton of people that want to know. It's like, it had water at one time, so where did it go?
Yeah.
So who knows what they'll find over there?
Yep. So there it is. It's kind of in the middle of what was a lake. So I think that's kind of the interesting thing. And you can see the description there. Deltas are built by rivers as they push out into a wider body of water and dump their sediment. Scientists are hoping to incorporate into the material that built the delta are the telltale signatures of ancient microorganisms. Perseverance will sample the base of the delta, move towards the rim of the crater. It's at the rim that satellites have detected carbonate rocks, while on Earth are particularly good at trapping biological activity. So, of course, we're trying to see if it has the ability to hold water, which obviously it does. I think the question is, Did everything move underground? Isn't that an interesting question? Inquiring minds want to know. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Right after these messages, we're going to be talking about the latest film that you can go check out right now if you're looking for something good to watch. Suffer for Good. It's coming out just around the corner. We're going to be talking about that around the corner. We'll be right back.
And round break.
All right. And then let me get our guest on, Danny.
I figured you needed to talk to him.
Yes, I do. Thank you much. Thank you. Let's get Danny on. Danny, welcome back. All right.
Welcome back. It's great to see you. How are you?
Good. All right. Give me a minute here. We'll get your video ready to go here. And I understand those shirts are sold out.
I know we are sold out right now, but I think there's still. I think at the end of this run, I think we're going to find a way to get some more. I got to be honest with you. People want them. It fits so well too, right?
Yeah, it looks. How much are they starting when you get going?
I think Seb does kind of like an exclusive. I think they're $25.
Okay.
I mean, and also 3 colors, as anybody who's made a T-shirt knows. It's an expensive shirt, so he's not margining much. It's more just for the love of the game, I think.
Well, you know what? I say even better. Start getting them on layaway and autograph moments, right? Why not?
We gotta find a way to do. I've never done a T-shirt hustle. Do you have any recs? Do you have any idea how to make this happen?
I got a couple actually. I got some that are on order, so you don't have to get them printed ahead of time, and you just get them sent out. Yeah, we could talk.
Work.
There's always a way. So
right?
There's always a way. Yeah, but then you got copyright. You got I'm just kidding, but all right, buddy. So let's see. Over there is Jesse. Jesse, can you see our guest?
Yes, I can.
Okay, awesome. And so if you have any questions as well, feel free to do so. Social media, we see you over there. Again, we've got the director of this film, and I'm just going to flash up a couple things. We're still on a commercial break here. Suffer for Good. It's a story unlike any other, which oddly enough, Danny, are you always like in the role of trying to figure out people's stories, or are you just an inquisitive person?
Yeah, I would say it's a great question, Aaron. I'm always asking people what inspires them, what makes them special, what makes them tick, right? And same thing with Seb. That was what drew me to him was his incredible talent. So I would like to say I'm inquisitive. That's a great word to describe myself, but I'm more just curious, about the world.
Yeah, no, I get it. Okay, so we're gonna take a little bit. Jesse, go ahead I'm going to go ahead and throw it to the graphic, and then we'll come back appropriately, and I'll introduce Danny.
10 seconds.
All right.
5 seconds. Coming back live.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our Facebook, Instagram, Periscope TV, LinkedIn, YouTube live audience, as well as Alexa. Don't forget to download our app. It's free. KMET 1490 AM. If you're just joining us, I'm so excited about this next film, which is directed by Danny Simmons, puts the spotlight on Ethiopia in an already award-winning documentary. It's called Suffer for Good. And it's available to watch right now. You can go get it immediately after this interview once you see it. It is a very interesting story, one of which is, I think the story about getting the story is just as interesting. Joining us right now is the director who put this great piece together. Looks fantastic. We got Danny here with us. Danny Simmons. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me and for having us. And Seb, we really appreciate you.
Yeah, and I'm excited because Seb's going to be joining us just around the corner. But how would you describe Seb? Because I understand you two met in what was really a work environment, and then it just came into like this friendship / how did you finagle him to say, look, sign on the dotted line, I'm going to do your story, I'm going to do it really well?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I was working at Sony Pictures at the time in a corporate environment, and I was inspired by the way he was training, just amateur MMA fighters who happened to be in entertainment. And I was in a class one day. Within 5 minutes, it was the hardest, workout I've ever done. I played baseball in college, so I figure I'm an athletic guy. I can pick up anything. And then I was sweating. He's laughing at me. He started hitting me, and so right away he's like hitting me with these mitts. And I'm like, and embarrassed, but also I too am laughing. So he had some sort of special nature about himself to not only humiliate you and ridicule you, but also inspire you at the same time. And it was fun. It was this wild exploration that I was experiencing. And then his accent really drew me in, and I wanted to know where's that accent? I haven't heard that before. He said, that's Amharic. I'm from Ethiopia. I'm from Addis Ababa. You don't want to know my story. And then that was like, the little alarms on my head were going, well, what's the story? What's the story? And then from there, I showed up the next day to his gym that you see right here in the trailer, and Jared Papazian, who actually I coincidentally went to high school with at El Camino Real for a year. I recognized him, and we have a mutual friend, Tyler Kolodny, who I played against in baseball. He played for the Dodgers, and I was like, wow, it was meant to be. So it was kind of one of that first day of production. It was just supposed to be like a 1 or 2 minute video. And Seb then announced that he wanted to get back in the ring for a fight after 30 years not being able to have his opportunity to go to the Olympics in 1984. He finally gets to kind of get that redemption. So I was like, I'm in. Let's make this a feature. And some of my mentors at Sony said this is a really inspiring film. You got to keep following Seb and his story.
Well, okay, and look, I saw him take a couple punches to the gut without anything. He just lets you go at him. How strong is this man? I mean, he's like the. I think even Stallone would be like, let's not,
Yeah. No, I got to be honest. He's very strong. I would say his nickname is Feton, so Seb Feton Zewdie. So he's not, it's almost, they say like speed kills, right? In boxing, that's why Floyd Mayweather is really what he is, right? Is his speed and his ability to counter. And Seb's such a good counter boxer. And he can also obviously take a punch. He's hit me a lot. He has like these, they kind of feel like a little bit like, when you get hit like a cement block, like a little cement block hits you in the gut. And it's most of the smacks. They're like little slaps he would do to me, which were even more dehumanizing to let me know that I was so novice. It's because I'm a big guy. He had to always put me in my place, right? So there was always that father-son sort of relationship with Ina.
Well, and look, that's kind of the way you roll, right? Because you don't, as they say, I mean, you can either throw a punch, but the question is, can you take a punch?
Yeah. And that's a good. That is true. In Seb's life, and that does relate to how Seb lives his life, right? He took quite the punch, right? Getting on the national team in 1984 and having politics get involved with sport. That's what I thought was so beautiful about his overall story and everything that he's experienced in his life. He's taking so many punches and he just keeps going forward. So that's what I love about him, and he inspired me to make this movie, and I'm just so grateful that he even inspired me to take my creative talents full time. So he's just one of those people that says, keep going, no matter what, keep going, do not quit. That's this winner's mentality.
Well, and for those that don't know the story in particular, I mean, he did look. What did you know about Ethiopia before going in, or what did you learn about Ethiopia and his coming here to the States from Ethiopia?
Yes, I mean, great question. I knew about coffee, so I'm having coffee right now, right? So I knew Ethiopia is the origin of coffee and the dawn of man. We had Archie and some of the oldest fossils ever I knew were from Ethiopia, but I didn't know much. I didn't know about the original, the Haile Selassie, the overthrow by the Dergish regime. I didn't know how the Soviet Union kind of waged this low-key Cold War in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan and also in Ethiopia. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just in Cuba and Afghanistan. I didn't realize there was this other part of the Cold War that happened. And it was the only time that there were actually Cuban and Soviet troops fighting together against, Eritreans. So it was very interesting to learn about how Ethiopia was kind of this Cold War area. And then moreover, I was fascinated to learn that Ethiopia is the only place in sub-Saharan Africa that hasn't been colonized and ever. And I learned that from Professor Edmund Keller when we interviewed him. He's a UCLA widely published professor, and he was there. And it was just so informative to read his book and learn about all of the history of Ethiopia and the dawn of man, the dawn of kings, and then Seb coming out here with such regal presence.
Well, and look, him and having been able to almost go to the Olympics, what was that like when he talks about that? Because I understand the Russia boycott, but also a near-death stabbing. So I could imagine like his dreams. He made the best of it, and now being able to go back, I feel like you kind of gave him I don't want to say a second chance but very few people get to tell their story, and you basically are able to help him tell his story. Some people just keep it as a story and nobody knows it, but you kind of you brought awareness to something that I think needs to be brought to the fore.
Yeah, I mean, now more than ever, right? With especially with Tokyo, right? There's so many Olympic athletes who have trained for 4 years and their whole lives, really, and it kind of reaches this precipice, right? Okay, I'm at the peak of my athletic performance, and here's this 4-year journey, and then boom, if something's, the pandemic happens, and it could cause, obviously a lot of these athletes aren't going to get their opportunity now, right? They're going to either age out of it or injury, and this is even more sad. I believe it's sadder because it's politics getting involved in sport. Obviously, we have the 1936 how that didn't happen, that Olympic Games, but in 1980, what happened by the U.S. boycotting the Moscow Olympics, that was really the first time where I realized, man, the U.S. has done some bad stuff, and it has ramifications for many athletes, not just the East and West. It's Ethiopians. I didn't know that. So seeing how politics got involved in sport was informative, and it gave me an opportunity to say, hey, how do we give these athletes a second chance who want them? I mean, everybody wants a shot at redemption. I believe that's something that I want. I know that we all want a second chance, and Seb gets it. And in turn, it's an opportunity to spread his legacy of suffering for good, of being a good father, the American dream, and never quitting.
Well, let's talk about the suffering for good, because I always tell people do the right thing, but sometimes doing the right thing is the hardest thing. Why that title?
Seb's actually he'll explain. His Russian coach used to say, "Suffer, suffer, suffer, suffer for good," right? And I mean that's a very Eastern. When we think about it, it's very Eastern, Eastern Bloc, right? Suffer, but it really means just grind, hustle, work hard, put in the work, do the process, and then ultimately the journey will give you those results. You'll get the fruits of the labor, which is ultimately what you want. You want the journey, right? You want to work hard. And now Seb and I we're basking in the glory of people seeing this, the film, learning about him, learning about his efforts to overcome, various, losses he's had in his life, and how to keep a positive attitude despite everything that's happened in his life, and how to keep getting back in the ring. That's the true thing, is no matter what happens, you get hit, you get back up, and you go against your opponent. You just keep going forward. So that's the thing that I think suffer for good really means, is just keep moving forward, one step, one foot in front of the next. Let's go.
Are you sure you didn't do this film just to get like special one-on-one training? Because I feel like you're stronger for having done this in your own right. Because correct me if I'm wrong, like you're more conditioned than you were probably going in.
Yeah, no, it's true. I did. Well, initially I gained a bunch of weight because I stopped doing his training. So it was initially I put on the Filmmaker 15, and now I'm getting back into it. So that is true. It was pretty much the best discount on personal training I've ever had. And I talk to Seb all the time. He usually charges thousands of dollars, but I get free one-on-one. So yeah, that's true. It
works. It works out, man. And you know what? You always can look, you can use that. I've done some boxing, and I'm telling you, man, 15, 20 minutes of true conditioning. There's nothing like it. So, congratulations on doing all that. Before we let you go, obviously I got a question, for those that have seen this already, what's kind of been the result of what people have said to you? Thank you for putting this out. I didn't know the story, but more importantly, I took away something from it. Is there any common denominator thing that's said to you?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people have said thanks for getting Seb's story out into the world. It's inspiring. He's made me feel like I can accomplish so many things that I've kind of put off in my life. And seeing how he handled the loss of his father, and the next day losing his sister to suicide. I mean, these things are very, painful and traumatic. And seeing Seb and his family so positive and in such a circumstance where a lot of people would see this as a negative, a negative light. And, oh man, I didn't get my chance. But there's never a negative word that comes out of any, Seb, Liu, or Maddie. There's just a bunch of rays of positivity. So I think that hearing how people have seen Matty as a kid that's kind of like this I want to almost say it's disciple of Seb. I think that's the one thing that has stood out, is people seeing Matty as a great example of someone who can put in the effort. And maybe your life isn't the one that that takes off. It's your son or your daughter or your family. And I think that is something that has really attracted a lot of audiences, is they're saying this. It's beautiful to see Seb's kids grow up and to be truly embodiments of the American dream, and to see this suffer for good. The good is his family, and the good is how he lives through this community that he created.
Okay, obvious question. Where can we get the t-shirt? And I think you're kind of showing it, but at the same time, we need it. And where can we get the information? Because I understand right now, by the way, good job. I already see by IMDb, 9.9 out of 10. A download on iTunes from Apple. You got a 5 out of 5 stars. You got already really good stuff on this, including some fighters on this. I can watch it right now for $3.99 on YouTube. But where else can we get it? How do I get everything? Sufferforgood.com?
Yeah, you can go to sufferforgood.com. We have a link tree that I'll email to you as well. You can go to Apple, Google, Amazon Prime, obviously YouTube with Gravitas. Find us, Danny M. Simmons, on Instagram. I'll send you a link. It's also in my bio. And you can follow Suffer for Good Film on Instagram, and all the updates are there as well. So the link tree will have all your places to download. And in a little bit, we'll probably be on some more devices soon. Yeah.
Well, I congratulate both of you on doing all this. I know it takes a village to do something like this, but at the same time, good job on putting this together, and can't wait to see what's next for you. Do you have another? Are you going to go in a feature? Or are you going to do another life story? What's next?
Yeah, right now I'm actually writing a couple scripted features. So actually a couple thrillers, a thriller and a horror. But I mean, I definitely want to find my next sports documentary. I'm obsessed with the Olympics. I think it'd be fun to follow someone who's trying to compete and train for these pandemic Olympics, the asterisk Olympics. Are they going to happen? When will it occur? And I think a similar Suffer for Good-esque story will present itself. But right now, I'm just shooting for. I have a shoot for Red Bull on Monday. That's kind of in the same vein, so I'm excited for that.
All right, buddy. All right, keep going and keep rocking it. Keep doing what you're doing. Danny Simmons, everybody, go check out his feature-length directorial debut. Already gotten a lot of awards, got a lot of stars, and definitely one to watch. We're going to have Seb here just around the corner. Thank you again, Danny, for spending time with us here on The Morning Show.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right back with more with Seb. Yes, next here on The Morning Show. We'll be right back. All right, buddy. See you later.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
No,
Thanks,
thank you.
Eric.
Thank you.
All right, let's get Seb on. I'm probably going to take this all the way to 8:50, and then we'll get the other lady on. Let me get her name ready to go to. Lauren Groupman. Hold on. Seb, you there with us?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, give me a minute. I'm just gonna I'm a little behind schedule here. Apologize for that. But you know, when you meet people that just can't say nothing but good things about you, that's kind of long lasting goodness, right?
Right.
So
Definitely.
so let's see here. So I understand he's he got a like. Do you have any? He said he got a little flabby. Okay, is there any like? Are you gonna like strong arm him and tell him, hey, yo, like, get back into shape or what? He's doing good though.
Yeah, Danny, he assumed, he played, I think, baseball when he went to college. He went all the way to high level a little bit more, and he think he's coordinated, and he think he's a good athlete. And when he work out with me, he kind of coordinate his body, the exercise that I gave him, and just he does different kind of sport, and he does a little bit of MMA, and he not bring it back his arm, and just bring it back your arm and slap him in his face and say, "Damn, you're fast, man. I can't handle the speed."
Yeah, he kind of alluded to whose idea was it for him to punch you in the gut? Because I saw that little, was that you going, I'll take it, or like how, like most people, I'm not one. And how do you train your abs to be able to take that type of punch? Because the last time I've ever seen that was Jean-Claude Van Damme, where
Right.
he does the tree thing going on. How did you do that?
It just shows them how strong they need to be. I just, people punch me and I love my body shot that I just take it. Maybe from experience, some of them, they don't even know how to punch. They push you instead of punching. So I know who's punching well, who's not punching well. So I take notes. You know what? Come hit me my body shot. Let me see what you can like.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
All right, hang out. We're coming back from a break. I'll be right back with you, Seb.
Okay.
2 seconds. We're coming back.
All right, thank you.
9,000.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We're continuing our discussion on the latest film, Suffer for Good. And obviously, Suffer for Good is something I think very few people actually say nowadays. I think it's definitely going to need to be its own hashtag, Suffer for Good. What does that mean? Joining us right now is the man who actually is in front of the scenes and the entire story on his life. I've got with us right now Seb Zewdie. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Seb.
Good morning. Good to talk to you. Thank you.
Yes, Seb, look, I understand this was a phrase that is, how was it said? Was it said literally suffer for good, or is it like a different meaning in a different language, or how does that sound?
This is when I was in the Olympic team, I had a great coach who came to Ethiopia to help the Olympic teams. And he has been telling me when I work hard, and he's just like, don't give up, suffer. I said, I'm suffering. What else do you want me to do? And he's pushing me hard, suffer. He's trying to say there's a time that you need to suffer and go through it. And after that, it would be okay. Then I relate that one. I had a great friend of mine. He's a world champion marathonist. And I asked him, how are you guys running 42 kilometers? And I have a problem to finish 10 kilometers. And we used to run 10 kilometers every 2 times a week. And he said, it's the first 20 kilometers you run for your life. What do you mean? The first 300 runners in the front, the best runner, they put us in the front. So when you start in the first, speed, everybody has the same speed. If you slow down, you get pushed, you die, or you be paralyzed. People go to a hospital when the marathon starting point. And after 20 kilometers, we'll spread out. And from 20 kilometers to 35 kilometers, you suffer. And really, really hard time that time. People give up. People start walking. People go to hospital between those from 20 to 35. Then you feel like someone is choking you in your neck. And that time is really suffering time. After 35 kilometers, your body just full of salts. You don't have even sweat. You just cruise. That's why the suffer word come from. So after that, your body just cruise. You run, you finish a marathon. Then I took it that way. Then I said, oh, that's what you're trying to say. And I keep suffering that time. and without suffering, there's not to get good results. So that's where the word come from, suffer.
So, okay, Seb, obviously, nobody likes to suffer. People hate to suffer,
Yeah.
but it's something that is very true to life, right? No matter what, the question is, are you going to keep going? And Seb, you obviously kept going and going and going. I saw some photos and some talk, I guess, with your sons in talking about how the journey somewhat was completely taken off the course because you were ready to go to the Olympics. What happened?
Yes, during the 1984, at that time was, I remember, if you remember, it's a Cold War. Soviet Union and United States, they have political issues. So our country's boycott from the Olympics, which is Soviet Union, all socialist country. And our country was beside, was a good ally for the Soviet Union. So we're not able to come to U.S. Los Angeles Olympic. So all our dreams shattered. Just we became worthless out there. We've been working hard every day, 3 times a day, the whole year, and it just shut off. And that's why after that I ended up in Los Angeles. I don't know how when you watch a movie, it makes sense. But my plan was to go to the Olympics and to turn professional boxer, but it didn't happen. But I ended up in Los Angeles in some way, in some.
Well, and it's funny how I guess for Danny, right, he kind of realized there was like a full circle situation where sometimes you see things that are meant to be, how your story kind of diverted, and then it brought him to certain people that he knew in life. But, speaking of the relationship between you and Danny, I got to ask, what's that like since the film has been done and since now people are now hearing about your story for the very first time? I'm sure you get a lot of questions, not just about, hey, can you train me, but also what's it like not giving up on your dream and getting back into the ring?
Yes. My Danny and I, the relationship is built up. Our chemistry is getting very, very well. And, Danny, he goes really hard time. And I've been telling him to stay strong. And after he quit from Sony Pictures, and he's really hard time to build up his own business and stay strong. I passed through so many hard times, and you will be strong. We became really friends. Our friendship is really getting stronger and trusting each other, and ended up here now. We're finishing the film. It took us quite a while because we didn't have enough budget to finish early. So then on the midtime, and I told Daddy, you know what? Let me do one more fight for our movie. And that helped us to accomplish something. And I like to be good example for my fighters, for my students, for my family, for my kids. And listen, do not give up. And my dad used to tell me, try until you die. So I keep working on it. And I just keep on it. I just did one round. I get back after 30 years. I went back to my office again. I called my office. My ring was my office back in the day. So I get back to the ring to accomplish something, to show for people, especially people give up easy in this time. So people, instead of suffering, nobody like to suffer, but you have to, believe me or not. And people that go to different directions, it's suicide, kill somebody else, try drugs or alcohol, different habit that people starting because they don't like to suffer. They think that's a solution, but it's not a solution. The solution is to suffer and pass it through it. So I ended up to finish that, to accomplish the boxing. I went back to the ring, and I did really good. I'm proud of it, and I hope will give a message for people and to accomplish something, to pursue their goal, and really go through it. We're very good. Ended up very well.
Well, Seb, okay, you mentioned something, a couple like very close topics that we've talked about here on the show. Obviously, the youth of today, I feel, and including all of us right now. I mean, some are suffering, through death. Some are suffering through just life and trying to live and trying to make ends meet financially. Was there ever a point in time where you said, I don't know if I can go forward? And those, like, maybe not the suffer for good came up in your head, but the part of I'm not dead yet. Like was there that moment in your life?
Yeah, yes, definitely, definitely. It just, here's really, especially like saying at this time, most people don't like to suffer, right? Like we said, but we have to, we have to go through. Just look what we passing through right now. This crazy pandemic that we have right now. People, even suicide rates increased like 30% now. People because they don't like to suffer. Actually, we'll go through it. So just we have to stick with our problem. And then now, even in your business, if you're in work, in your relationship, marriage, so and so with your kids, and people they have to stay strong to pass that. That's why I want you to have a fighter mentality and keep fighting. When you lose, you're not losing. You learn something. So I want to leave that kind of style to teach my kids, all my friends, people that who's gonna watch my movie, they'll learn something. And I met a guy that in a gym that I train here. He walked in, and I said, "I saw your movie. It's very inspiring. I'm proud of you what you go through. I just really give us something." And I'm very happy. I didn't expect that person that he saw my movie. I just really good. So I encourage to suffer. Like you said, you don't like to suffer, but you have to, believe me or not. So you have to go through it.
Yeah, and it looks like you surrounded yourself with a lot of good people as well. Sometimes you have to not forget you're not alone, and B, I
Mhm.
gotta imagine you got a lot of faith.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Faith is very important. Without walk, I mean, if you don't have faith, it's just you driving with no direction or no destination. If you don't have faith or you don't have a goal, uh, you can't take any freeway. So,
I remind people that even though God is love, He's also a vengeful God, and He's a fighter, right? I mean, some of those in even in the Bible of the Hebrew and Greek scriptures, you had fighters, right?
right.
It's a fighting nation that He had.
Definitely. It's what makes me amazing is I used to go to downtown in Skid Row, downtown LA, and people saw my shirt, and most of them they come then and said, "You know what? I was a fighter. This guy's so old, like 67 years old," and they walk in. I was a sparring partner for this guy. I was sparring for the Larry Holmes. I was sparring partner for this. I was. What makes me think is just boxers they fight. I want you to have a fighter mentality. Keep going. If you get knocked down, you get up and you keep continue fighting. So by faith we walk. By faith we fight. And this is a boxer mentality that I see from my experience. So in everybody, I want you to have like a fighter mentality. If you get knocked down, you have a time to get up and to continue pursue your goal.
Well, I love it. I think I can't wait to see this again. I'm definitely going to tune into this. Some people get to see some pretty good stuff on demand. This is definitely one of them, and I've got to say thank you for making this aware for many people. Again, keep doing, keep plugging, and keep inspiring. Okay, Seb.
Thanks so much, Aaron. Really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, everybody. So go check it out. You can do so right now. Look for it. It's on all video on demand services, which you could check out. Which, if you haven't already, I sometimes do YouTube rentals, but it's on a lot of video on demand. Sufferforgood.com is where it's at. You can get information right there. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Thanks so much.
All right, I'm just going to play the. Is our next guest ready to go, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm going to shorten down the break.
Yeah, do it like a minute and a half. Let me show this trailer really quick.
Do that now.
11 a.m.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Are you wondering how you're going to spend your money? Well, joining us right now from the book, The Recovering Spender and Saving Expert, we've got Lauren Grootman with us. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Lauren.
Thanks so much for having me, Aaron. Good to be here.
Yeah, Lauren, look, let's jump into it. People are trying to save money. Families are hurting right now financially. People are going, what do I do next? What are some of the steps you can recommend?
Right. So I can relate to where those families are. I write about it in my book, The Recovering Spender, that I was once in over $40,000 worth of debt. I was drowning. My car was towed away. I had to learn how to set a reasonable budget and stick to it. And so, February is a great way to kind of get back on track with their budget. And really taking control of your finances starts with how you pay. And one of my top suggestions is to use a firm. If you haven't heard of it, a firm is a transparent alternative to credit cards that gives you the flexibility to split the cost of your purchases into biweekly or monthly payments. And it lets shoppers pay over time at over 6,500 retailers without late or hidden fees. So it really makes it easy to stick to your financial goals by scheduling out, payments over time that makes it work for your budget.
Well, and look, so for those that are wondering, a firm, it maximizes your revenue. I understand they've got 6.2 million satisfied shoppers. You can reduce the risk. How does that work, though, if you want to, buy something and then have flexible payments? Because I'm seeing something here like a sofa, which I might need.
Yeah. So you sign up and then it shows you the cost of the purchase up front. So, and it never charges you more than you agree to. So, like I said, there's 6,500 retailers, and you go, it tells you exactly how much your payments are going to be, and then you can split it up into, if you want to pay it, biweekly or monthly payments, and it's not a credit card. So it's an alternative to credit cards that, lets you split those payments up over time instead of just having to pay for it up front.
Got it. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And then there's something called Swag Bucks. What's that?
It's called Swag Bucks.
Oh.
So Swag Bucks, I love Swag Bucks. I'm a big believer in taking
I'm like
advantage.
Target and Target, so I like to switch things up. But tell them I apologize.
Switch it up. So yeah, I love Swag Bucks. It's a rewards program. So it's a fun and free online rewards program that's paid out over $500 million. So it's a way to make money without having to spend money when you're online. So it gives me free gift cards for scanning grocery receipts and sharing opinions and finding great deals. And get this, Aaron, it helped me pay for my kids' Christmas presents over the past 8 years. Just by using Swag Bucks and earning cash back and scanning my grocery receipts, I get free gift cards. And then those gift cards help pay for my kids' Christmas presents.
Oh, then I need Swag Bucks in my life.
You need Swag Bucks. It's amazing. Yeah, you really do.
And that's good for the kids then, right? Like if you're gonna buy, make sure it's on Swag Bucks.
Well, they give you gift cards, so you can shop through Swag Bucks, and they give you like points, and then you use those points to trade those points in for gift cards. So, and then you can use those gift cards to shop through Swag Bucks and get more gift cards. It's pretty amazing that you can just get free stuff and then get cash back on that free stuff. You just have to go to swagbucks.com and check it out. It's pretty amazing.
No, I get it. I understand you're a mother of 6. You're crazy already, right? I mean that in a good way.
It's a good kind of crazy. And you know what? What comes with all those children is a lot of cell phones. A lot of cell phones. And I'm not the only mom out there that's probably like, yes, and amen, that like these cell phone bills for us parents are going up and up and up, right? So chances are that most people are paying too much for their cell phone bills. So when people are trying to save money, I always tell them to first look at their cell phone bill, and I recommend them to Ting Mobile. They are a nationwide low-cost cell provider that helps you save on your monthly phone bill. They offer unlimited talk and text for only $10 a month, a 5-gigabyte plan for just $25, and even an unlimited plan for only $45 a month. And if you want, you can bring your current phone and your current phone number over to Ting and get the same great coverage as those big carriers. And the only difference is you'll notice more money in your pocket every month.
What?
So
How do you spell? How do you spell that again?
Ting. Ting.
P-I-N, P as in
T. T as in Tom.
Oh, T.
T-I-N-G.
Ting.com. Okay, ting.com. Like
Ting.
ting.
Yeah, like if you want more information about all that I talked about today, you can go to tipsontv.com and you can see like the correct spelling of everything and the links to the websites that I talked about.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. We run out of time, but I'm already looking at ting.com. I'm ready to check it out, and I need to save some money. So thank you for visiting us on the show. And you know what? We're gonna have you back, okay?
Yeah, thanks so much, Aaron.
All right, everybody else, we run out of time. That's it. Enjoy the great weekend that you have. Go check it out. Again, go online right now and go get the movie for the family. Get some inspiration in your life. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. We'll see you next week, everyone. Bye-bye. And for the rest of you tuning in, we ran out of time. That's it. That's all I get. But look, I enjoyed each and every one of you for tuning in. Again, sufferforgood.com. You can get all the information right there, or look for it on all video on demand platforms. When you see it, just get it, and you'll enjoy it as well. Obviously, gotten a lot of awards. 5 out of 5 is nothing to sneeze at. 9.5 out of 10 on IMDb. I'm telling you, those are really good ratings. So go check it out. Take the time to do so, and make sure, again, to if you're a family, talk about what it's like to pursue your dream, and then of course never give up on your dream. That's always important. Sometimes we give up on our dreams because we think, it's too late, I can't do it no more. And I say, you know what? Learn from Seb and be like Danny and just do it, right? They put something together and they did so, doing the right thing. Rosalie says, ditto. Have a great weekend, everybody. Jesus says, so, pay attention to Jesus. Very important. Maria says, have a great day and weekend. Jesus Sanchez. And Algenia says, yes, my grandfather's country, Ethiopia. Very interesting. So again, we appreciate every single one of you for spending time with us. Camille says, Suffer for Good is so inspiring, more than boxing. It really shows determination and focus to overcome any hurdle that life throws at you. You can check it out. Sufferforgood.com is where it's at. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. And even if you got to suffer a bit, sometimes when you get past the suffering, it's amazing what you get on the other side. Sometimes you get good friends. Sometimes you get great memories. And sometimes if you just keep going, who knows what you're going to find on the other side of life. We'll be right back next week with more. Have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.